Speaking of guns, over the weekend, Biden signed into law the first major gun legislation that's been passed by Congress in nearly 30 years. And who got it there? Well, a bipartisan effort. They're calling it the Safer Communities Act. And in a 234 to 193 vote in the House, with what, 14 Republicans in the House doing turncoat on us? Now there'll be expanded background checks for folks under 21. There's going to be extra funding for school safety and mental health resources. We'll see how that gets broken down. They're going to close what they call the boyfriend loophole, ensuring convicted domestic abusers cannot buy firearms at all. And then they're going to add some of the state red flag laws. Again, before Biden signed it, it took 14 House Republicans to advance it. A few of them, of course, you know. Wyoming's Liz Cheney, Illinois' Kinzinger, Michigan's Meyer, South Carolina's Rice, Texas's Tony Gonzalez. And then don't forget the 15 senators who also broke ranks. This is what Biden had to say about it before he signed it.
Today, we say more than enough. We say more than enough. It's time, when this seems impossible to get anything done in Washington, we are doing something consequential. If we can reach compromise on guns, we ought to be able to reach compromise on other critical issues, from veterans health care to cutting-edge American innovation and so much more. I know there's much more work to do, and I'm never going to give up.
Here now to discuss the rhinos that helped the Democrats get this legislation passed, both in the House and the Senate, Florida Congressman Greg Steube, who, of course, now infamously had that little tit-for-tat back and forth during a hearing on this legislation about a week or so ago when we had John, Greg, where you were demonstrating your guns in your home and discussing about the legislation that they were trying for, which I think this didn't make it in the bill, where they were going to ban a bunch of magazines that would have made a whole slew of handguns obsolete. That did not make it in, correct?
That did not make it in. Okay. And I think it was because actually there were some Democrats that were afraid to vote on that. Show you how leftist and progressive the Democrats try to go on all these gun grabbing bills.
Yeah. All right. So we know what's in, but I heard over the weekend, and again, I haven't read the pages because the stuff that you guys write in D.C. is so many damn pages and so convoluted with legal jargon that most Americans can't dissect it. So how is this millions and millions of dollars going to be spent when they say school safety and counseling? Are we going to get resource officers with guns and proper training, or are they going to hire some counselors to try and talk to kids more or something? Like, how's this money going to be used?
No, they rejected Republican amendments to do just that, to actually put trained and armed school resource officers and people with proper training in our schools to be able to defend our schools. They rejected that summarily. They don't want more guns in schools, despite the fact that that would actually save lives. I think this is the most important point for your viewers to get. If that law that passed, that was signed by President Biden, would have been in place before Uvalde, would have been in place before Sandy Hook, would have been in place before the shooting in Buffalo, it wouldn't have stopped or prevented a single one of those tragedies. And what it is doing is taking law-abiding citizens' ability to defend themselves away. Stricter scrutiny between 18 and 21, enhanced background checks. I don't even know exactly what that means. I would love for somebody to actually explain what enhanced background checks is. I guess if you have a juvenile conviction that was then expunged and later off the record, they would go back and say, okay, now that you're 19 or 20, you're not going to be able to purchase a firearm. But I guess when you're 22 and there's not an enhanced background check, you'll be fine. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. Despite the fact that 99.97% of those adults, Americans who are between the age of 18 and 21, 99.97% of them don't commit murder, don't commit crimes with a firearm. So why are we going to tell the 99.9%, oh, you're not going to be able to go and purchase a firearm without stricter scrutiny from the government, when it's only the 0.03% of the criminals out there in that age demographic that are committing mass murder?
I'm just disappointed that we had 14 from your body and 15 from the United States Senate side with them purely, I believe, out of pressure from the woke mob, acting like we've got to get something bipartisan on the books to calm people down, when what they put through and the money they're going to spend, to me, from what I read so far, again, I'm sure you've seen more of it and read more than I have, Greg, is not going to do anything to stop another mass school shooting. I got 10 seconds left. Would you agree with that assessment, that what they put through, how is that going to stop another shooting?
It's
Yes,
not.
sir.
It's absolutely
That's what I
not going to
thought.
stop another shooting. And I'm glad you put that list of members up there. And if you look at that list, half of them aren't running for re-election. So hopefully we'll get some real conservatives in the House to help bring support to the real things going on in this country.
You got it. Greg Steube representing Florida 17th. Thank you, sir. As always, appreciate you.
See you.
Take care.
You too.
Yep. Straight ahead, folks, after the break. Did you hear about what happened over the weekend?